What's your training split while running? I'm going to answer this from two angles because what I recommend and what I do isn't always the same, although there's crossover. So I need to give a little bit of context here to what I'm training for over the coming months, and then I'll break down my training split and then what I recommend versus where you need to adjust it yourself. So at the minute, I have a High Rocks race in Rome at the end of September. And for anyone unfamiliar with High Rocks, it's a kilometer run with circuits basically in between. So sled push, sled pull, skier, rower, and then you do a kilometer run, and there's basically a circuit or an exercise in between to break it up. And at the minute, most of my training and most of my running is in and around the gym and pairing kilometer runs or 500 meter fast runs with a circuit. So if you're on my Instagram stories, Brian_Keane_fitness, and I'm putting up these workouts or some of these workouts, you'll see that there's a combination. It's a run with an exercise. It's another run with another exercise, a run with another exercise. So it might be a kilometer run with a sled push. It might be a kilometer run with some wall balls. It might be a kilometer run with some burpee broad jumps to keep the movement patterns from the race. So I tend to reverse engineer my training based on whatever outcome I'm looking to achieve. So for me, it's going to be a faster time in High Rocks in Rome at the end of September. I'll link the previous two episodes I've done on Dublin last year for the High Rocks and Turin in February if this is something you're interested in, because I went into a lot of detail on the mistakes I made, the training that I did, and some of the changes that I made to my training based on the feedback from the first race in Dublin coming into Turin, and then obviously now coming into Rome making further adjustments. At the end of January in 2026, I've got the Marrakesh Marathon in Morocco. So my training will drastically change as we come closer to that. So historically in the past, I've always done a run gym combo when it came to running. So you need to ask, well, what's the distance you're looking to cover? Are you looking to do a High Rocks race, which is going to be 8 kilometers total? Are you looking to do a 10K, a half marathon, a full marathon, an ultra marathon? So you're going to make the adjustments to your training accordingly. The rule of thumb is your training should reflect whatever outcome it is that you're looking to achieve. So for me, when I'm training for something that's a marathon distance, which is 26.2 miles, or an ultra marathon, anything over that distance, I tend to do a lot more running in my training and less gym work. And I tend to front load the gym work and then back load the running. And what that looks like is 3 months out from a race, I will be doing multiple gym sessions, normally 3, 4, 5 gym sessions, strength and conditioning or a push-pull leg split, and I'll be doing a baseline run that I'll be gradually increasing week on week, or I'll be increasing the speed for the same distance. If I'm trying to save the junk miles, I'm doing 20 kilometer runs, 30 kilometer runs that are just at a really, really low intensity. Again, nothing wrong with that. You can do that zone 2 style training, and it works for a lot of people. I tend to do a lot more, I don't know what the opposite of junk miles is. Junk miles is when you're literally just going in and hitting the targets on the run, regardless of the intensity or regardless of how good the session is. I tend to do a lot of, say, fast 10Ks or fast 5Ks, even in marathon prep, because I'm a bigger athlete. I'm 85 kilos. I've got quite a lot of muscle. So for me, doing multiple weeks of 20 or multiple days of 20 kilometer runs, 25 kilometer runs, which you will see other runners or ultra athletes do, that just breaks down my body, my hips, my ankles, my knees, and it becomes an actual problem. I did a podcast a few months ago with my one-to-one client, Emmett, who was training for the marathon in full Garda uniform in Cork, and we have very, very similar builds. So in his training prep and in the advice I was giving him for his runs is that he doesn't have to go too far or too long, because we're bigger athletes. It's a lot of poundage on the joints. You want to maximize your training and optimize your training as much as possible. If you're 55 kilos and you don't have a lot of muscle, you're going to be able to do more runs, longer runs, and it's not going to have the same negative impact on your body. So you need to make the adjustments accordingly based on your starting point. When it comes to marathon prep or ultra marathon prep, then I tend to adjust my running and then reduce my gym workouts as I get closer to a race. So you'll see on my Instagram in November and December, I'll be doing a lot of gym-based work in November with a couple of fast runs, normally 5K, 10K max in the lead up to December. And then as December comes and rolls into January, I'll start tapering back the gym sessions and I'll be doing my runs alongside it. So an average week for me, which is pretty common when I'm training for marathons or ultras, is Monday is normally my long run. I normally go into the gym and I'll do a little bit of a pump workout for 10-15 minutes. I'll stretch and then I'll do a long run. So that's normally 15K, 20K, 25K, 30K plus, depending on what I've built up to. And again, I will increase that normally by 5K each week. So I'll start with 5K, week 2 I'll go to 10, week 3 I'll go to 15, week 4 I'll go to 20, etc. Not everybody can do that. I've got quite a decent base from my history in doing ultramarathons that I'm able to do it week on week now. You might want to go up by 1 kilometer or 2 kilometer based on your starting point. Then on Tuesday, I do a pull workout, which is normally back, biceps, rear delts for 15-20 minutes, and then I'll do a 10K. And again, what I do with that 10K on a Tuesday is I try and increase the speed week on week. So it's always going to be a 10K, but if I'm doing it in 52 minutes the first week, I'll try and do it in 51 the next. I'll try and do it in 50 the week after. I'll try and do it in 49 the week after. And then I kind of hit a plateau where I'm in and around that kind of 46, 47 minute mark, and I'm not able to break that without massively changing around my training session. But that's a good baseline for me. Wednesday then is normally a rest day. I'll do stretching, I'll do maybe some yoga, or I'll go in and do a recovery session in a sauna, ice, plunge pool, etc. Thursday then, I come back and do a strength and conditioning style workout. And there's normally a run in here as well. So a fast 5K or a slow, steady pace 10K. So it's a good strength and conditioning workout, working a lot of glutes, hamstrings, quads, core, variations of planks, variations of battle ropes, kettlebells, etc. And then a run, either a fast 5K or a slow 10K, depending on how my body's feeling. Then on Friday, I do a full body strength and conditioning workout. So that's where I'm hitting all the major muscle groups. They get shoulders, chest, core will get hit, quads, hamstring, glutes, calves, everything gets hit on that Friday session. Or if I'm feeling strong, it'll be a power-based workout. So I'll do power cleans, I'll do variations of deadlifts, etc. And then on Saturday, I do an interval style workout. So that's where the high rocks comes in. Funnily enough, with the high rock style training, this is how I've historically always trained on a Saturday when I was training for ultras. So it used to be anything from a 500 meter run to a kilometer run with workouts in between, or apologies, with exercises in between. So I would do a kilometer run, 3 sets of 10 on a chest press, kilometer run, 3 sets of 10 on a pull variations, a lat pull down or a barbell bent over row, etc. I do another kilometer run. I'll do variations of planks for a minute on each. I'll do a kilometer run, and then I'll go and do squats, or I'll do a bicep or tricep movement, and then I'll do a kilometer run after. And I try and do them quite quickly. So those workouts are normally about 45 to 60 minutes max, but they're very intense. My heart rate's very, very high. I feel very tired generally after, and then I have a rest day on Sunday. That's normally what my training split looks like when I'm building in runs. But again, your mileage may vary, pardon the pun, depending on your starting point. So that's quite a high load for the average person. But I, at this stage, know how my body responds. I'm able to do that without too much compromise, i.e. performance doesn't drop too much. It's strategic overreaching. So I did a popular podcast on my GA show, the GA Lean Body podcast, or the Lean Body podcast for GA players, about overtraining. And what you're looking to do is there's a spectrum for overtraining, and what you want to be in is what's called strategic overreaching. It's where your body's not quite at overtraining level, because if you hit overtraining, you're going to have a whole host of negative symptoms. You'll find your sleep is poor, your sex drive can drop, you can start to get sick very easily, your energy levels will be compromised. But strategic overreaching, you're right at that point where this is hard, it's pushing me to my limits, but it's not pushing me over. And then anything below that then is kind of just maintenance, which again, off the back of a race, I will normally do a maintenance month. So coming into September, I've got the High Rocks race at the end of September. October will be mostly a maintenance month for me. Going in, doing 45-minute sessions 4 to 5 times a week, and just kind of keeping things ticking over. And then in November, I'll ramp things up again for the gym. December and January will be very run based. I'll do the marathon at the end of January, and then February I'll back right off again. So that's generally how I approach races. It's normally what I recommend to people. The only thing that'll be different is obviously the tactics and the structural setup of your workouts. It'll be goal dependent, starting level dependent, etc. But that's some hopefully useful information to get you started.